It was a bright morning in Karachi. Birds flew across the sky, children played in the streets, and shopkeepers opened their shops like any normal day. No one knew that today would be the last day Earth belonged to humans. Arman, a 28-year-old electrician, walked down the street with a tool bag in his hand. He was fixing the school's broken power line. His phone buzzed. No signal. Strange, he muttered. He looked up and froze. Above the clouds, the sky cracked. At first, it looked like lightning. But the crack didn't vanish. It spread wider, like broken glass. People stopped and stared. Some pulled out their phones. Others screamed. A giant dark object started to come through the crack. Then another. Then many. Within minutes, the blue sky turned black. All across the world, New York, Tokyo, Nairobi, London, millions of people watched as huge alien ships came out of the sky. They weren't flying. They were falling slowly, as if pushed by some invisible force. The ships made no sound, no warning, no message. Then, every screen, TV, phone, computer, turned white. A single alien symbol appeared. No one could read it. And then, darkness. Power went out everywhere. Cars stopped. Planes fell from the sky. Satellites went offline. The world was blind. Armin dropped his bag and ran. His heart pounded. In the distance, he saw strange figures dropping from the alien ships. Robotic machines. They landed on buildings and streets, shooting blue nets that wrapped around people like chains. Soldiers tried to fight, but their bullets bounced off the machines like water on stone. Within hours, Earth was silent. The aliens didn't speak. They didn't explain. They just took over. Every major city was under control. People were gathered like cattle. Camps were built in old stadiums, schools, and shopping malls. Giant drones flew over every area. If someone ran, they vanished in blue light. Arman was caught that night. A blue net wrapped around his body and knocked him out. When he woke up, he was in a cage with 50 others. Everyone looked scared. A small black chip had been injected in their necks. One man tried to remove it and screamed in pain until he passed out. The aliens were not monsters. They were silent shadows, tall, thin, skin like metal, eyes glowing white. They didn't speak words, but somehow their thoughts entered the mind. You are weak. You will work. Your planet is now ours. Days passed, or maybe weeks. Time meant nothing inside the camps. People were used like tools, building alien towers, digging for strange metals. No food was given, just blue liquid. The weak died fast. But Armin, he watched. He waited. One night, during heavy rain, he saw a small drone spark and crash near the fence. No one noticed. He crawled to it and picked up a strange device, half broken but still glowing. He hid it inside his clothes. That same night, he met Zora. Zora was just 16, but her eyes showed fire. "You're not chipped," she whispered. Armin froze. "How do you know?" "I can feel it," she said. "Something inside me changed when they came." She placed her hand on the broken device Armin held. It blinked, then it floated. Armin's eyes widened. "What are you?" Zora whispered, "Not just human. Not anymore." Suddenly, lights flashed. The alien machines noticed the floating device. A loud alarm rang. Zara and Armin ran through the cages. Blue nets shot toward them. People screamed. The earth shook. Something massive was moving underground. Behind them, the crashed drone exploded, taking down part of the camp's electric wall. They ran into the forest. Zara fell, her hands glowing blue. The ground cracked under her. Armin pulled her up, shocked by what he saw. Her eyes were glowing. The rain stopped over her head, like an invisible shield. They reached a broken building deep in the woods. Inside it was dark and dusty. Old computer screens blinked once, twice, then turned on. A robotic voice spoke. Project Omega. Human activation protocol initiated. Armin looked at Zara. Zara looked at the screen. And far above Earth, inside the main alien mothership, alarms started flashing red. Something had awakened. The forest was dark. Rain still fell, but inside the broken building there was silence. Old screens blinked with strange symbols. Armin stood still. His heart was racing. Zara's hands were glowing, but she was calm. The voice spoke again. Project Omega. Human activation protocol. Online. Armin looked at the dust-covered machines. What is this place? Zara stepped forward. It's not just a lab. It's a weapon. The room lit up. Old lights flickered on, revealing walls full of ancient machines, wires, and tanks filled with strange blue liquid. A map of Earth appeared on a central screen, with red dots blinking across it. Zara touched the screen. Her fingers moved like she had done this before. These are resistance spots, hidden groups, people who escape like us. Armin was shocked. I thought everyone was caught. Zara smiled. Not all. Some of us were always ready. Suddenly, the screen flashed red. A warning message appeared. Omega core at 12%. Partial activation only. Before Armin could speak, a loud hum shook the ground. A part of the wall opened, revealing a small chamber with a floating cube inside. It was glowing. Zara stepped closer. This is why they're here. Armin frowned. A cube. No, she said. A memory. A seed. This belongs to Earth, but also to the stars. Zara placed her hand on the cube. Instantly, her body lifted off the ground. Blue light wrapped around her like armor. The machines in the lab activated fully. Some even repaired themselves. Armin watched in shock as Zara slowly came down, her eyes glowing even brighter. She looked at him, voice deeper than before. We were never weak. They feared what we could become. Armin stepped back. What are you now? Zara blinked. Something. Old. Something lost. Just then, the ground outside shook. Distant screams echoed from the forest. They found us, Armin said, grabbing a metal rod. Zara looked at the screen. More are coming. The lab doors shut automatically. Security shields activated. A countdown began. Emergency launch in 10 minutes. What launch? Armin asked. Zara walked toward a locked door. There's a hidden escape route. Maybe even a ship. They built these labs all over Earth, long ago, hidden from even our own people. Armin's voice was filled with disbelief. Why didn't anyone know? Because Earth was never just a planet. It was a vault, Zara replied. Outside, alien machines moved through the forest. Blue scanners searched the ground. They weren't just looking. They were hunting. Inside, Zara and Armin unlocked the back chamber. A narrow tunnel led downward into darkness. But on the wall near the entrance, they saw something shocking. Old writing. Not alien, but human. Guardians will rise when the flame is lit. Below the writing was a handprint scanner. Zara placed her hand. The wall glowed and opened. Inside was a small escape pod, designed for two. Suddenly, a voice echoed in their minds. Alien, cold. Surrender. Your species is weak. Your time is over. Zara looked up. No, our time just began. They entered the pod. As the tunnel began to collapse behind them, the pod launched underground like a bullet. Fire and rocks chased them through the narrow shaft. Outside, the lab exploded, taking many alien scouts with it. Far away, on a floating alien fortress, a Zorath commander watched the screen. He hissed, a human child. Just awakened the forbidden tech. This should not be possible. Another alien replied, she's not just human anymore. The commander slammed his hand on the table. Then alert the queen. Earth's secret has been touched. The prophecy may be true. Back on Earth, The pod shot out of the ground near a desert ruin. Zara stepped out, still glowing slightly. Armin followed, coughing dust. They looked around. In the distance, a man in dark clothes stood waiting. He smiled. "Took you long enough." Armin stepped forward. "Who are you?" The man replied, "Name's Kaif, leader of the East Resistance." Zara tilted her head. "You knew we'd come." Kaif nodded. "Project Omega chose you. That means it's time." "Time for what?" Armin asked. Kaif looked up at the sky, where alien ships still floated like dark clouds. "To take our planet back." The desert wind blew dust across the broken land. Alien ships still floated in the sky like dead giants, but deep underground, something ancient had begun to stir. Zara, Armin, and Kaif stood at the edge of an old ruin, half buried in sand, glowing with blue lines. This was no normal ruin. It pulsed with energy. Kaif pushed open a hidden door. A staircase led down into darkness. "This place is called Site 9. Long before the invasion, our people found it, but we never understood its purpose." Zara stepped in first. Her glowing hands lit the path. "I can feel something down there. It's calling me." Armin followed, holding a torch. "I still don't understand. What is she now?" Kaif replied, "She's part of what we used to be." They reached a giant hall filled with black stone pillars, each carved with strange symbols. Some looked human, some didn't. At the center stood a tall structure shaped like a key. Zara touched the structure. Instantly, lights activated across the room. A voice echoed around them. Not robotic, not alien. It was human, old, wise, and calm. "Welcome, Hair of Flame. Earthfire Protocol. Engaged." Armin's eyes widened. Earthfire. Zora's body glowed brighter. She looked lost in thought. Images flashed in her mind. Planets, ancient cities in the stars, giant ships, and humans not as victims, but rulers. She fell to her knees. "I saw it. We were not just born here. We ruled, long ago. The stars knew our name." Kaif nodded. "Thousands of years ago, our ancestors were powerful. They created life on many worlds. But something happened. We sealed our knowledge and erased our past." Armin asked, "Why would we do that?" Zora looked up. "To protect the galaxy from us, or maybe to protect us from something worse." Suddenly, the ground shook. Alarms echoed from the ancient hall. Zorath scouts detected. Defense offline. "Prepare for contact." Kaif drew his weapon. "We have to move. This way." They ran through a tunnel that led to a hangar, a massive underground dock holding something no one expected. A sleek black ship with silver wings. Alien in design, but built for human hands. Zara smiled. "I know how to fly it." Armin stared. "You've never even flown a bike." Zara walked to the ship, placed her hand on the panel, and the ship responded with a warm hum. Lights turned on. Engines came to life. The voice inside said, "Pilot accepted. Project Earthfire ready." Outside, alien machines were closing in. Blue blasts hit the ruin entrance. The ground above started to collapse. Kaif fired at the incoming drones. "Go. I'll hold them." Zara shouted, "No, you're coming with us." Kaif smirked. "Don't worry. This isn't my first escape." He threw a grenade at the wall, opening a side path. The three jumped into the ship as alien drones broke through the main door. Zora pulled the controls. The ship lifted, shook, then blasted upward through layers of stone and sand, straight into the sky. For the first time, humans flew in the sky again, not as prey, but as predators. Alien ships noticed the movement. Red lights flashed. They fired, but the Earthfire ship danced through their beams. Its wings glowed, firing back golden light that tore through the enemy vessels like paper. Armin held on. "We're flying through their fleet." Zara's hands moved like she had done this 100 times. "We're not done yet." She pushed the ship toward the clouds. A massive Zorath capital ship blocked their path. It was huge, like a floating city. Thousands of weapons turned toward them. Cave shouted, "We won't make it." But Zara just closed her eyes. The ship's energy changed. The glow turned white. It vanished for a second, then reappeared behind the capital ship. The alien ship exploded in slow motion, breaking apart into flaming pieces. On the ground, people in camps looked up. For the first time, they saw hope. Something had struck the enemy. Inside the Earthfire ship, Zara smiled. "We're not fighting to survive. We're fighting to return." Far away, deep in space, inside a dark temple, the Zorath Queen opened her eyes. A deep voice whispered in her mind, "The flame has been lit." She stood, her cloak made of living shadows. Her guards knelt as she spoke. "Prepare my throne ship. I will go to Earth myself." The last time we saw fire there, the stars burned. The Earthfire ship flew low over the mountains. Clouds parted as the black and silver vessel glided toward a hidden valley. Below, old buildings, radar dishes, and hangars covered in moss came into view. "This place isn't even on any map," Armin said, looking down. Kaif replied, "It's not supposed to be. We call it Shadow Base, one of the last free zones." Zara guided the ship into a hidden hangar. As the ship landed, resistance fighters rushed forward, weapons raised. But when they saw Zara step out, glowing faintly, they lowered their guns in shock. One woman whispered, "She's one of them, a flame bearer." Zara gave a small nod. "We're all going to be flame bearers, soon." Inside the base, old tech buzzed with new life. Radar stations tracked alien movement. Engineers worked on captured Zorath drones. Doctors treated the injured. But everyone paused as Zara, Armin, and Kef walked through the base. Zara entered the main war room. A large hologram of Earth showed red zones, places under alien control, and a few green dots, human strongholds. Kaif spoke first. "The aliens have built a relay tower here." He pointed to a red dot in Central Asia. "It controls mind signals sent to the chips in humans. If we destroy it, we break their control." Zara nodded. "Then people will wake up, maybe even fight back." "But we have a bigger problem," said Armin. "That queen, she's coming." Everyone went silent. Zara closed her eyes. "I felt her. Her mind is like smoke and ice. She wants Earth not for power, but revenge." Kaif looked at the team. "Then we hit them first. A shadow strike. Fast, silent, deadly." The plan was simple. Enter the relay tower, plant a disruptor device, and escape before the aliens knew what happened. Zara, Armin, Kaif, and a small team of fighters boarded the Earthfire ship again and took off under the cover of darkness. Hours later, they flew above a red desert where the alien relay tower stood like a black needle reaching the clouds. Around it were flying drones, crawler bots, and a field of blue energy. Zara frowned. "We need to get close without being seen." She activated the ship's stealth mode. It vanished from sight. The ship landed far from the tower. The team moved on foot, hiding behind rocks and shadows. The desert was hot, the air dry, but everyone was focused. Halfway there, a patrol bot spotted them. Zara raised her hand and fired a silent blue pulse. The bot dropped dead, sparks flying. Armin looked at her. "You're getting stronger." "I'm just beginning," she whispered. They reached the base of the tower. Kaif and two fighters moved to plant the device. But just as Kaif connected the wires, alarms blared. Red lights flashed across the desert. "They know we're here," Armin shouted. From the sky, Zorath fighters dropped like meteors. Drones swarmed in. The team fired back, using cover. Blue and red blasts lit up the night. Zara stood tall in the middle of the battlefield. She closed her eyes and screamed. A wave of light exploded from her body, knocking back dozens of machines. For a moment, time stood still. But from above, a shadow fell over the tower. The Zorith Queen had arrived. Her throne ship hovered above the battlefield. It opened, and she descended slowly, her body wrapped in black armor, her face hidden behind a mask of bone. Everyone froze. Even the drones stopped moving. Zara stepped forward. The Queen looked at her. "You are the last spark of a dead fire." Zara replied, "Then watch me burn." She ran toward the Queen, power building with every step. The Queen raised her hand, sending waves of psychic energy. Zara blocked it with her shield, their powers crashing like thunder. Kaif shouted, "The device is ready." Armin pressed the button. A loud hum filled the air. The relay tower shook, then exploded in a burst of light. A shockwave spread across the sky. Every human chip on Earth blinked, then stopped working. In camps across the world, people fell to their knees, then stood up, free. The Queen screamed in rage. Her army was still present, but her control was gone. Zara turned to the people. "Now is your time." The resistance rose. Earth was waking up. The ground shook beneath them. The explosion of the relay tower had sent shockwaves across the desert, but the battle wasn't over. The Zorith Queen's wrath had only begun. Zara stood tall, her glowing hands still humming with power. The Queen's dark ship hovered in the air, casting a shadow over the battlefield. Alien forces regrouped, and the Queen descended like a storm, her eyes filled with cold fury. "You think you've won, human." The Queen's voice echoed, sharp and cruel. "This is just the beginning." Zara clenched her fists. "You've underestimated us." Kaif and the other fighters rushed to position themselves. The base's loudspeakers blared across the desert, calling every resistance member to join the fight. Far below, new forces were mobilizing, humans who had been freed from their control. Armin stepped up to Zara. "We've broken the relay. The chips are useless. They can't control us anymore." Zara turned to him. "But the Queen isn't here just for control. She's here for destruction." The Queen raised her hand, and an army of Zorith soldiers emerged from the shadows, their black armor glinting in the pale light. The air crackled with dark energy. "Prepare for your extinction." With a single command, the Queen's forces launched themselves at the resistance. Gunfire and explosions rocked the desert as both sides clashed. The ground became a battleground, with the desert turning to chaos. Zara stepped forward, her body now shining like a beacon of light in the midst of darkness. She held her arms out wide, and a pulse of power blasted from her, pushing back the Zorith soldiers and sending them flying. The sky above turned brighter as the Earthfire ship activated its weapons, raining down fire from above. Kaif shouted, "Keep fighting. We can win this." Armin joined the fight, firing his weapon at the advancing enemy. The resistance fighters pushed forward, motivated by the knowledge that they were no longer under the aliens' control. They fought with a new strength, fueled by hope. But the Queen wasn't done yet. With a cold smile, she raised her hand to the sky. Lightning crackled around her, and her power surged, striking the ground in flashes of energy. Zara faced her. "You're too weak. You can't defeat us." The Queen's laughter echoed in the storm. "You don't know your own power, human. You've only just begun to understand what I am capable of." Suddenly, the Queen's ship released more soldiers, including towering mechs armed with deadly weapons. The resistance began to struggle under the pressure of the overwhelming enemy force. The Zorith Queen watched from above, her eyes cold with contempt. Zara felt the weight of the battle. She could feel her strength beginning to fade as the Queen's dark energy clashed with her own. But she couldn't stop now. Not after everything they had fought for. Armin saw Zara faltering. He rushed to her side, determined to help. "Zara, you can do this. You're the flame bearer. We're with you." Zara looked at him, her glowing eyes filled with determination. We've come too far to lose now. I have to stop her. For Earth. With a deep breath, Zara closed her eyes. Her power surged once more, stronger than before. She raised her arms, and a wave of light exploded from her body. The sky cracked with energy as the Queen's forces faltered. But the Queen wasn't finished. She stepped forward, her own power manifesting in waves of dark energy. You cannot stop me, child of Earth. You are nothing. Zara's voice rang out with strength. You've already lost. With a roar, she unleashed all of her energy. A brilliant beam of light shot from her hands, colliding with the Queen's dark force in a final explosion of power. The ground trembled as the two forces collided, creating a shockwave that sent Zorath's soldiers flying. The Queen's ship exploded, and her forces scattered. The battle was won, but at great cost. Zara fell to her knees, exhausted but victorious. Her body dimmed, her glow fading. Armin rushed to her side. Zara, you did it. Zara looked up, a faint smile on her face. We did it. Kaif stood beside them, watching the battlefield. It's over. Earth is free. But the victory was bittersweet. The Zorath Queen may have been defeated, but the war had taken its toll. Earth's resistance had lost many fighters. The cost of freedom had been high. Zara stood, her body still trembling. We've won this battle, but the war is far from over. There are more of them out there, and we will fight until the last one falls. Kaif nodded. We will rebuild. Together. Armin placed a hand on Zora's shoulder. You've shown us what humanity is capable of. We will never forget this. Zara turned toward the horizon, where the first rays of dawn began to shine. This is just the beginning. Earth will rise again. And with that, the human resistance prepared for the future, united by the flame of hope, ready to face whatever challenges the stars would bring. The battlefield was quiet now. Smoke still rose from the broken desert. Pieces of alien ships burned slowly under the rising sun. The bodies of fallen heroes and enemies lay across the sand. Silence had returned, but it was not the silence of fear. It was the silence after a great victory. Zara stood at the edge of a high cliff, her eyes on the horizon. Her body still glowed faintly, though the power inside her had calmed. Armin walked up beside her, limping slightly but alive. We did it, he said softly. Zara nodded. Yes, but many paid the price. Behind them, Kaif and the surviving resistance fighters gathered in a wide circle. They were bruised, tired, but standing tall. Across the world, humans were waking up, realizing they were free. The Zorath mind control chips had stopped working. And now, they were free to choose. That morning, Zara sent out a signal from Earthfire, calling every free human to unite. This is Zara. Her voice echoed across radios, satellites, and speakers. The invaders are broken. The Queen is gone. Earth is ours again. We must rise as one people, not to rebuild the past, but to build something better. People listened. In cities once controlled by aliens, humans took back the streets. Camps were broken down. Flags were raised. A new hope spread like light through the ruins. But it wasn't over yet. Kaif stood before the crowd at Shadow Base. The Zorath may return. Others might come too. But now they know. We are not weak. We are not slaves. We are human. The crowd cheered. Later that night, around a fire, Zara sat with Armin and Kaif. The stars above were bright, and the sky was clear, clean from the pollution the Zorath had spread. Zara looked up. You know, when they came, I thought we would lose everything. Our freedom, our future. Armin replied, we almost did, but you reminded us who we are. Kaif added, you lit the fire. Now the whole galaxy will feel the heat. Zara smiled. I didn't do it alone. Every human who fought, every soul who stood up, made this possible. Suddenly, the Earthfire ship's system beeped. Armin walked over and checked the screen. It's a signal From space, Zara and Kaif joined him. On the screen was a strange message in multiple alien languages. It was a transmission of surrender and fear. Zara translated slowly. To the humans of Earth, we did not know your strength. We beg for peace. Please, show mercy. Kaif raised an eyebrow. Now they're afraid. Our man nodded. Good. Let them be. Zara looked thoughtful. We won't become what they were. We will protect Earth, but we won't rule with fear. Kaif agreed. Then we must prepare, not for war, but for peace that lasts. The next few weeks were full of work. Humans around the world rebuilt their homes, freed others still in hiding, and began forming the United Earth Council, a new leadership built by the people, not by power or greed. Zara was offered to lead them, but she refused. I am not a ruler, she said. I'm just a spark. The fire now belongs to all of us. Instead, she became a symbol, the flame bearer, a reminder of what humans had survived, what they had become. Months passed. Then one night, Earthfire returned to the sky, not for battle, but for exploration. Zara, Armen, Kaif, and a new team climbed aboard. Armen looked out the window. Where do we go now? Zara smiled. Out there, to tell the stars, Earth is not afraid anymore. Kaif added, and if anyone tries to enslave us again. Zara finished. They'll face the fire. The ship rose into the night sky, past clouds, past the moon, and into the stars, carrying the spirit of a free Earth with it. And so began a new era. An era where Earth was no longer a quiet blue planet, but a world the galaxy would remember. Not because it was easy to conquer, but because it chose to rise and burn brighter than anyone expected. The end.